everyone. Sorry that I had something in my throat. I'm excited to introduce Michael. He is the technology partner manager at Gorgias. And for his session, we're going to be talking about the future of customer service, leveraging Black Friday, Cyber Monday insights to enhance customer experiences in 2025. So, Michael, I'll pass it over to you. We'll just make sure your screen is all good before we hop off.
Awesome. Let me reverse the direction of my slides here for a second. Hey,
Perfect.
everybody. I'm going to pop a little note here in the chat in case you guys want to get connected. So nice to meet you all. And oops, looks like my screen went away, didn't it? Try that one more time. All right. Let's try that again. Cool. Sorry about that. Okay. So yeah, as long as everyone can see here, Chris, are we looking good? Cool. I think we are good to go. So yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Awesome. So hey everyone, Michael from Gorgias. Good morning from San Francisco, California. Today, yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about the future of CX, kind of a couple high-level strategies. We're out of the BFCM rush, and it's really important to kind of take stock of what's happened, how to kind of maximize, leverage all the new data points you've collected over that time frame, and things to implement for the next rush, right? For the next year, next quarter, like it's a very transitionary time. So yeah, we'll just kind of jump right into things here. So if you're not too familiar with Gorgias, we are a customer experience platform powered by AI and automation, helping thousands of brands answer all those common questions every day. We have integrations with ShipBob, with Loop Returns, with all your favorite star players in the e-commerce space. And what we really want to kind of start with is the base layer of customer interactions, which is, how can you help me? It's really, really key to be where your customers are. Whether someone's reaching out via email, via website, via SMS, people are just going to reach out however they want to. And as a brand, it's really important to make sure you're there to be able to respond in those different channels. That's pretty much the basis of an omni-channel strategy. So having that in place is going to be really, really important going into next year, because that is really what allows you to provide really proactive support. So offering your customers answers to these questions in those channels quickly, or even sometimes before they even ask them, with like live chat, FAQs, all these kind of things are very important base layer touch points to have going into the next season. And the other consideration is responding to tickets as quickly as you can. So it's going to be really important for you going into next quarter, finding ways to get your first response time down. Under 2 minutes is really like an ideal place to be. And automation is what's going to get you there, especially if you're getting lots of questions about where people's orders are before Christmas or before the holidays, when they probably ordered them right after during Black Friday. So yeah, as I kind of touched on, like omni-channel presence today is like table stakes. I think a really good analogy is a lot of people are used to like Amazon Prime shipping 2 days now. Meet your customer places, TikTok Shop, WhatsApp, whatever it might be. That's going to be a really huge advantage going into these like big sale periods. And yeah, it can be a challenge to mitigate all these different channels, and you can really do that by making sure you can cover that bandwidth. So what are some of the common challenges here in 2025 that customers are facing today? One is long first contact times. You don't want to keep somebody waiting for 12 hours or a whole day just to get the answer to a simple question. And even more importantly, a resolution, actually solving whatever the question they have, because sometimes can take even longer. So here's some kind of stats on averages across the entire like e-commerce industry. On top of that, there's really huge like lack of personalization that's happening today. You don't want people to just feel like they're another ticket. And then lastly, sometimes that can also lead to people not feeling like you're listening to them, especially if your tech stack isn't talking to each other. They might have to repeat themselves like multiple times. So it's really important to have visibility into who that customer is. And Gorgias really helps brands have like one customer profile, no matter which channel they're reaching out, so that you can avoid no one's listening to me and repeating, and you can avoid that lack of personalization and really understand who they are the second they reach out to you. I wanted to share some interesting stats here that I think are really, really important. That's going to kind of inform like the why and the what of what we'll talk about later. So 80% of shoppers are more likely to buy when they get a very personalized experience. And think about like a time you went to a store and maybe somebody helped you find something, or you had a little question about um, maybe you brought in something you're already wearing, and they make a note about it and they say, oh, this is similar, right? These are all things that as brands today we're trying to emulate online. And there's tools and ways to do that, but it really is important. The next stat that I wanted to highlight is 90% of customers rate an immediate response as important or very important when they have a customer service question. Whether this is like pre-sales or post-sales, really, really key. One thing that I usually think about as an example is I wear a lot of like hoodies, and I'm a little bit of a hype beast, so I'm into like really specific styles. And sometimes if I don't know, like, does this fit oversized or is this true to size, right? If those aren't easy to find, it's much easier to say, you know what, I need to hold off on this purchase until I know the answer. And that's slowing down the sales cycle, adding another friction point. Whereas if there's like a quick chat, I can say, hey, like how does the fit on this item, or whatever it is, what ingredients are in here. These are things that really speak to the volume of questions that come in and being able to answer them quickly. That is part of the experience. So getting the answer fast really helps that decision making. That being said, like customer engagement is critical when it comes to your e-commerce growth stack, right? CX is extremely important in those customer facing decisions. As I kind of mentioned a couple of like anecdotes, that response time being extremely important is key. And then what's also really interesting is what we've looked at. 43% of consumers would pay more for greater convenience. So I know you guys just listened into a session with Loop Return, right? Um, Understanding that, hey, you know what? If it doesn't work out, there's an easy returns policy. Using something like Gorgias makes it easier for customers self-service returns, or even use like an AI agent to automate that whole process for you. Like this all is part of that cohesive strategy of tying all these systems together. They're talking to each other, and ultimately they're providing customer engagement and customer experience. So one of my tips for you guys is use automation tools to reduce the load on support agents and get customers those instant answers that we talked about. So how do you do that? You can leverage technology like Gorgias, right? You can have flows set up where you can input, for example, here, your order number, and it's going to pop up all the information about it. You can see what that is and start a conversation right around it. So, hey, where's my order? I need to make an edit to this order. I need to change something. Like this is all part of that play. And what this does is it reduces first response time while increasing CSAT, customer satisfaction. And customer satisfaction is like directly correlated to increased revenue. I believe it's 1 point of CSAT is like a 3-4% increase in revenue. So it's all like layering together. The lasagna of e-commerce, so many layers, right? So I also want to talk to you guys about some other specifics here, like those quick response templates. On the left here, you're going to see, and you can actually like take a look at all your most common questions across your entire customer interactions and put them all in a handy dandy high level section in a chat where people can click in self-service, find the answers to these common questions. They can track their orders as well. As another layer of that, you can build automation flows for these FAQs. So depending on which questions they're asking, drive them to certain areas including like article recommendations. So maybe if it's a technical product, they're not sure how to use it, you can eventually guide them to like, here's the setup guide, or here's how you care for this item. So these are all things that you are taking the load off of your team by doing through automation. Here's a fun one. Some of you guys might know this, some of you guys might not, but I think a really good temperature check coming out of the season is to calculate your ticket to transaction ratio. So here you'll kind of see some like waves and peaks and troughs and stuff like that. But ticket to transaction ratio is basically for the number of 100 orders placed, how many of those got order related tickets. On average, it's about 40%. So for every 100 tickets, you're getting about 30 to 40 order questions. For brands who are optimizing, automations and customer experience and quick first response times, they're cutting that in half. And that's a really healthy marker of customer experience, is this ticket to transaction ratio, because it means you're more proactive on getting ahead and anticipating these customer questions before they ask them, and being more quick to resolve and respond to them. So if you get some time, take a look through that, see where your ticket to transaction ratio is, and let me know in the comments or shoot me a note, and we can talk about how to help bring that down for you. My second tip, understanding your support requirements. So the next busy season, you can equip your agents with the right tools. That's really, really key, because we are entering a new age of customer experience in 2025. What does that look like? It's a paradigm shift. So now, or yesterday, right, a lot of the time is spent on handling repetitive tickets. Where's my order? I have a question about this. I have a question about that. And less time is being spent on setting up and optimizing tools, right? So the shift that's happening with AI being part of the equation is tomorrow, or today, this is already available. Customer experience folks are going to be coaching AI to handle these tickets coming in, and be able to spend more time on training, reporting, strategic products, brand redesigns, launches, cross-sell and upsell skills, right? That's pretty much one of the most exciting things that's happening, and people are already doing this today. We have like tons of customers who are leveraging our AI agent to respond quickly to questions and even execute actions, like it can pull ShipBob order history data. It can initiate returns processes through loop returns. Like there's tons of actions that it can do, freeing up valuable time for, maybe an agent, instead of answering, hey, here's your tracking number, a person can provide empathy if there's some serious issue, right? And you want to save those, really skilled agents to be able to respond to those things that are more high impact, right? So I think that's kind of one of the most interesting things we're going to see in 2025 is this is happening right now. And what are some of the benefits of how this is going to affect your brand, or how this is going to affect the e-commerce space? It's going to allow you to kind of scale support cost efficiently. So one agent can now handle a lot more tickets. You're going to reduce ticket volume and team stress, which is really hard to quantify, but that really builds into the culture, burnout. There's just so many things that this helps alleviate. Obviously, you're going to be delighting customers because they're getting instant support and really, really fast response times, like 30% faster. And then, as I kind of alluded to before, you're going to be able to spend more time on that high impact work, right? Inventory management, all these kind of great things. So our approach to AI, basically, it's going to learn all your policies, your brand voice. Imagine getting trained on all your customer questions and interactions historically. Then it's going to use that to resolve up to 60% of your inbound ticket volume over email channel and chat. And some other exciting news, like Shopify is opening up a chat functionality on the checkout page soon. So now you're going to be able to serve better messaging. An example, with Loop, if someone's checking out, hey, make sure that you get this coverage. If you don't like the item, you can return it, right? These are all little kind of places you can place messaging where it's going to have a great impact on the customer. And lastly, you're going to want to be able to QA this, like say, hey AI, that was a good interaction, or hey, that was not so good. Let's work on that, right? So these are all really important for like a holistic approach to AI. So what are kind of some of the results of the automation, right? An increase in repeat purchases, huge, right? Customer retention, customer loyalty, a reduction in that first response time, 37%, makes customers happier. Cutting the resolution time almost like more than in half, takes much faster to actually resolve whatever question it is. And that ticket to order volume ratio, a reduction in tickets per order, right? That's how we get down from like 40 to 20. So a couple of like quick highlights, like Topicals was able to increase sales through these pre-sales customer conversations, leveraging like automations and AI. Shinesty, using a smaller team to automate like 50% of their inbound tickets and have a faster first response time. So that's huge. Just a couple, check out their website, poke around, see kind of what they're up to. I think these two brands are really great leaders. And lastly, like it's really important. You've spent all this money on ads. All these people are on your website. They're interacting. Then what? It's really, really critical in 2025 to turn those visitors into customers. And it's not just like leading them onto your site and like hoping they buy. This is like actually guiding them through that, just like you would in a store. Hey, check this out. Or, hey, you might like this, based off of their Shopify data, right? You have all these tags from Gorgias. You have all these integrations. Use that picture of this person to inform like campaigns that are running through a chat live on your website. What's it going to do? People are going to stay on your site longer. It's going to improve customer retention. You can increase order value with like special promotions and pricing, trigger actions like based on their customer history. And you don't need to know how to code, like to do any coding to do this. What are some of the results we've seen from people doing this? 92% of first-time visitors like aren't making a purchase when they go to your website. So that's a huge area of opportunity. Shoppers who are using chat are 6 times more likely to buy. And the most interesting stat, on average, like 12% of chat tickets lead to a sale, which means it's much higher performing as a channel than email or even phone. So what does it look like? Kind of like these hyper targeted campaigns that you can embed video, images, like all kinds of great stuff into it, coupons that will like pop up on your site. So overall, what it's going to do, lift your website conversion, decrease your bounce rate, increase sales on like targeted products. And when you're thinking about like ROAS, a dollar spent on clicks versus revenue generated from folks on your website. So there's some huge like lift from this. And in 2025, brands who are having great customer experience, engaging with them both pre and post sales, and really capturing those folks who are hitting your site, it's all really, really cohesive. So this is kind of a quick summary of some of those points. We can kind of jump over that. But yeah, here's a couple little visuals of like what some of these messages look like from different brands, and visually can kind of weave those into your process. And overall, like what's the theme getting out of Black Friday going to the next season is turn your customer support into a revenue generator, right? And you can do that through Convert. Lastly, wanted to highlight a really, really fun one. This brand, Tushy, has done a ton of great work capturing and targeting brands or targeting their customers for specific like campaigns, and have generated tons of revenue from doing so. So kind of quick summary. Quick summary is understanding where your customers are, making sure you're engaging with them, and connecting all your tech stack pieces together so that you can provide like quick customer support, pre and post sales. And then lastly, now that you've captured and you're working with these customers, they're coming to your website, make sure you're engaging with them there too, because that's some more untapped potential. So if anything I said was interesting or you want to learn more, feel free to book some time with the team here at Gorgias, or shoot me a message, add me on LinkedIn, whatever it is you might want to do. more than happy to chat all things e-commerce. And if you find yourself in San Francisco, let me know. Would love to grab a cup of coffee with you. Thanks so much. And thank you to ShipBob for hosting today.
Thanks so much, Michael. That was great. A lot of great insights. And we do have our next winner. So it's going to be Katia Espinoza. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, but you are our next winner. You're going to be receiving a pair of AirPods from Gorgias. So they will be in touch to receive that. Super exciting. But yeah, if you have any questions for Michael, feel free to follow up. And thanks again, Michael.
Awesome. Thanks. And Katia, feel free to email me. We'll get you hooked up with those AirPods. Congrats.
Awesome. Thanks, Michael. Bye.
Bye.